some.
You're listening to Shatter the Glass with your sister from another mister, Yane.
What's up? What's going on, good people? What's going on? Happy Sunday, wherever you are. For my people that's out on the other side of the globe, happy Monday, okay? Because I understand the hour difference. Especially shout out to all my friends in Uganda and Nigeria, okay? All right, so I am getting myself queued up on Instagram here, letting my friends on Instagram know we are going live. We are live. Just getting everybody together, these logistics. I'm also giving you time to get your notebook and your pen. Okay, so before I even bring on my next guest, I've just been excited anyway about even stepping into this space and doing podcasting, just because I get to show off that I know good people, like good people, good soulful people. So if you've seen any of the prior episodes, you can tell that. I know Connie's episode will be airing hopefully within the next couple of days, since our segment was a little different than everyone else's. She didn't do live, but it's all right. Like, you gonna learn today, right? And you're gonna be empowered because these people are amazing. And I think this is how I stay juiced up, because I know amazing people. Instagram, listen, I'm only giving y'all a little bit of the nuggets. Y'all know how this goes. You get me for a couple of minutes, and then you got to head over to YouTube. So I'm being nice because I like y'all. I want y'all to be a part of this. I don't want you to miss nothing. So my sister that I have on tonight is phenomenal. We met back, I want to say maybe 2016, 2017-ish, right? We was at this amazing event called the Black Women Millionaire Event, okay? And first of all, that weekend was everything for me, because I met so many beautiful sisters who I'm still very close to this day, right? That's one thing. And Queen Leia just happens to be one of them. Just one of them. But she's amazing. And she's amazing, one, because she's my sister in this walk of education. She's amazing, two, because she's getting ready to teach me on being a mompreneur, because I'm new to this, y'all. Y'all know my baby only 5 months, okay? So I don't know nothing. And then she does urban farming. She's coaching. She's teaching women how to build their businesses and their brands. I mean, what is better than that? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so get your notebooks together. Get your pencils and pens. Tell your husband, the grandma, whoever's there, help get this kid aside for a second. Give them a snack. Get yourself ready. Okay, get yourself ready. And I'm gonna give y'all 30 seconds to get ready, and I'm gonna bring my sister right on. So get yourself ready. Y'all know I love to do my countdown. 30 seconds, go. All right, time's up. Okay, time is up. Help me welcome my wonderful sister friend, Queen Leia Lewis. Yeah. How are you?
I am so happy. Okay.
Oh, wait, it's a loop. Hold on. Sorry about that. We only need one.
Listen, honey. Listen. Sister Yane, we breaking through ceilings. We shattering the glass.
Yes.
We're moving through quantum dimensions, honey. Yes, all of that. We need all of the shatters.
All of that. Breaking it down. So, I have a place where I want to start, but I want to just first say thank you for coming in and doing this with me. I know you are very busy and you got a lot of stuff going on, and I love it. And I like to tune in. And then I was super excited when I heard the Patra. we shouting out our Jamaican roots, okay?
Yes, indeed.
Oh my God. All right. So I'm jumping in straight because I want to make sure the people get the most out of this session with us. I want to know from you directly, like, what inspired you to become an educator? We're gonna walk back before we leap into everything that you got going on.
Absolutely. First I have to give credit and lay it at the feet of my mother, Queen Mother Nanny Lewis. I'm the daughter of an educator. So my mother is a veteran educator of 40 years. She taught overseas because we were a military family in my youth. So she taught in Japan, and then she taught all throughout the state of Louisiana, mostly North Louisiana. So, my childhood was helping my mother in her classroom, helping her watch her grade stacks of papers, all of that. I did not want to be a teacher, Yane. I was just like so clear that was something I did not want to do, but God had other plans for me. Right. And so as my life evolved, after a career in my 20s in arts and culture, I was introduced to so many dynamic things in the city of New Orleans and saw some really phenomenal models of community-based Afrocentric education. And when I became a mother, I had the desire to create such an opportunity for children here in my hometown of Shreveport, Louisiana. Long story short, I had this amazing vision, which I have been cultivating now for decades, to create a community school at this special place called Sankofa Gardens. And I decided, let me go be legit. Like, let me go ahead and get the qualifications, the certifications, do the studies so that I can be equipped to lead this vision of a school. So that's a long way of saying my dream is to start a school here in my hometown. And I became an educator for that purpose.
I love it. I love it. Wow. 40 years. Like, you don't even hear people say that they've done anything for 40 years anymore.
I know. Right.
And especially now in our space, I feel like so many things have changed in education in the last 15 years. That a lot of the vets are like, I'm out. And I mean, for a lot of reasons, but I'll digress. We won't go into that. I won't go into that. But all right. So I love this. So you came in with some history there.
Yeah. I came in with a very clear intention of not to be a public school educator, not to be a career public school educator, but my intention always for it to be a bridge to carry me to this greater vision and this greater calling. I know it to be, a work that the Creator has given me to establish here on earth. And so the bridge of teaching in the public school system has been beneficial because, of course, it has brought stability to my family. I have expanded my network with amazing educators. I've learned the process of teaching children, and I have been also able to originate and innovate some things as a classroom teacher. But I'm very much now at a crossroads where it's time for me I'm at my 10-year mark. It's time for me to leap again. It's time to move.
I understand that. And I feel that. I feel that, which is how I'm here with Shatter the Glass, right? And what made me start my program for literacy as well, breaking away from the mold, trying something different, but still in the space. And now, to be honest, I'm in a weird space even now with that. Like, do we continue to grow it and expand this, or to step into another chapter because I got other stuff going on?
Right.
It's a hard thing, especially when you're passionate about it.
Absolutely. Well, first I want to say I'm so proud of you and what you have created for yourself and your family and your community and all these amazing children with Reading for Smiles. Because when we met back in 2016, 2017, you were emerging in it. and our connection on social media, I've been, it's like you're flowering, you're getting sponsors, resources, spaces, touching all these lives. I'm like, look at my sis. Like you're doing great work.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm gonna continue to do some other things. Like right now I'm gonna offer some children that live in here in New York City. We have something called NYCHA, which is New York City Housing Authority. So I want to be able to sponsor a writing program. I'm going to sponsor. Let me just say what it is, because it's starting in a couple weeks. For kids of color in the community, to help them with their writing, completely 100% free. In honor of my mom, I'm doing a literacy scholarship in her name.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
So I'm able to stand on something that she believed in and give back to the community of where I first started, and would raise me as well. So, right.
Absolutely.
So I'm all for that. I want to know also too, what inspired you to be an entrepreneur?
Because it has been in part making more dollars. Like keeping it 100, right? Because as educators, the noblest of professions and the most, modestly compensated for the investment of our time, energy, resources, intellectual property, you name it, And so being a Black woman, being a mother, being a person who wants to create experiences for myself and for my family, I need more money, It really was a practical matter of, okay, how can I use my resources, my creativity, my talent, and also engage these other interests that I have? And entrepreneurship is that vehicle that has allowed me to do so many more things.
I love that. I do. I love that. And I mean, stand on your truths. That's what got me started too. Besides being frustrated with a few things, it was like, girl, you could do more on your own, and you end up, yeah. We gonna dive into that. I'm not gonna do that just yet. I ain't gonna do that to these people just yet.
Right.
It's too early in this conversation.
Let me say this. It's so funny. There's this quote, and I don't know the source of it. It'll circulate on entrepreneurs. I mean, it'll circulate on social media about entrepreneurship, and it goes something like, entrepreneurs are the only people who want to leave their jobs to start a business, but end up working 120 hours a week or like 200 hours a week. So we leave like the 9 to 5, the 40 hours a week, saying, I can't deal with this job. I don't want to do this. And then we go work buku more hours. Buku is very many in New Orleans, Louisiana talk. Buku, many more hours, but it's the passion. It's the energy, it's the spark, it's the autonomy, it's the Kuji Changalia, it's the self-determination. Okay?
Yes. All right. Hold on. People, like, share, subscribe, and subscribe. Share with your friends. Go get your friends. Go get your business bestie. Go get your edpreneurs, because that's the other title I like to run around with us too. We don't see that many educational people step out and do their own thing. Well, I'll see the consultants. I got plenty of consultant friends. So I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about people who are taking their craft in different ways and pushing the envelope as teachers. There's so many other ways to get the bag. I think I got to do an episode just on that, for fellow teachers and educators on what else you can do when you're ready to step out of the classroom and do something different, but still stay in the space, if that makes sense. All right, yo, listen, y'all on Instagram. I gotta cut off. You gotta hit YouTube. You gotta go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, Shatter the Glass. You know the address. Okay? We'll see you over there. Gotta go. All right. So I'm ending it here. And I gotta send it to all these people.
You like working the turntables. You mixing and scratching, girl.
Mixing and scratching. I'm learning, It's been so much I've had to learn over these last 5 months, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you can do this. This is what we're doing.
Hmm.
This is all good new stuff.
Right, right.
And don't be afraid of the challenge of what's new and different,
Exactly,
you know.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
uh, all right. Now that we took care of those Instagram folks,
Hey, Instagram.
let's get back to us. All right. You are also into urban farming.
Hmm.
What led you there, and like how did you even start?
The urban farming piece is an ancestral connection, just like teaching, is a family connection. Um, Before I even go into that, part of my evolving spiritual philosophy and understanding of life, right? If I can have this moment to, park this here, right?
Definitely.
Is that in an African consciousness, because we know that we are our ancestors.
Yeah.
Okay, we are our ancestors. I am the living embodiment of the hopes, the dreams, the aspirations, the ashe, the DNA, the everything that my mothers and fathers before me contributed. Now, in my lifetime, it is not a surprise that I would have a desire to create a school because I'm the daughter of a teacher. It is not a surprise that I would become an urban farmer because I am the granddaughter of grandparents on both sides who were farmers. And on my mother's side, who sharecropped.
Wow. Okay.
Like, okay, so sharecropping ain't way back in the day. My mother and her siblings in Louisiana picked cotton. Like, that's what they did as young women.
Wow.
Now, my mother knew that she wanted to move beyond the country life. And so she went on to become a first generation graduate of historically Black college, Grambling State University. But my mama picked cotton to pay her tuition.
Wow.
So when she left the farm and would go on to become an educator with all of her multitude of degrees, and I lived a working middle class lifestyle. When I had this vision, desire, really of the heart, like I wanted to garden because I remember running around in my grandmother's gardens, being warned, "Don't you run over my peas." Don't y'all get in my okra. These are my grandmothers saying this to me and my cousins. So I always imagined I'd have a little garden on the side of my house. When I was able to acquire and buy land, um, it was quite a lot. It was a nice amount of land. It's about 2 acres thereabout. And I
Wow.
prayed to the Most High and I said, Creator, what do you want me to do with this land? And I walked the land and I would talk to the trees and touch the earth and ask. And a clear vision, along with community conversations with the neighboring cultural center, Africana Cultural Center, was we should start a community garden. I'm like, oh, I always wanted to start a garden. Let's do it. And so it's just like this connection of the family lineage came full circle. We had the idea to start a garden, and this is going back to like 2005. But those of us of my generation, child, we didn't have not one clue. Like we wanted to do it, but we didn't know how to do the work. And
Yeah.
so my mother and other elders in the community came out and taught us, baby, this is how you break the ground. This is how you hold the hoe. This is where how you plant the seeds. And my mother would laugh and she's like, child, when I left the farm, I said I never imagined I would be back out here hoeing this ground, right? But it is the ancestors calling now in my generation so that we will remember this vital part of who we are. Gardening is wealth. Farming is wealth. Land ownership and stewardship is wealth. And so I know we live in this day of Instagram and we may have these aspirations that are flashy and blingy, but I'm gonna bring it back to foundation and source and what we value as African people: land, connection with nature, knowing how to be self-responsible, knowing how to grow our own food and nourish ourselves and nourish our families, That's why I'm here doing this. The ancestors said do it.
When you hear that sound, that's just me shattering the glass because you done dropped something for me. Okay? I'm just
Yes.
telling everybody, I'm just sharing good people with y'all, but this is for me to learn. This is for me to connect with my people because this, you said a whole lot. You said a whole lot. One, I truly love and respect the whole initiative on it. You touched me right there in my heart with the ancestors and it being a call in. Agriculture is wealth, and we can have that conversation too, that yes,
Yes.
Black people, we need to be growing our own food. Now, I'll be telling you something. My mom passed away earlier, in the middle of like last year,
Respect.
and she was always big on growing your own food, and she told me straight to my face, you gonna wait till it's too late. And I said, come on, Ma, don't say it like that. So it was crazy because last year Christmas, I was started buying all these books to learn. And then I bought her a bunch of stuff because I'm like, girl, go be great. But I did love going outside and getting my own cucumbers, the tomatoes, the basil, oregano, mint. I mean, she was growing a bunch of things. And now I'm like,
Yes.
oh my God, I got to figure out how to replant these things and
Mm-hmm.
let alone the food that you can grow just with in water as well. I think that
Mm-hmm.
we need to, I have to have you come back where we just do a segment on farming, if you don't mind,
Mm-hmm.
of course.
Would love to. Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm looking at it, the prices of things are going high right now. I went to the supermarket today and was like, what?
Yes.
I got 10 things. It's $100. Wait, and I don't even eat meat.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I'm a vegetarian. So like what are we
Mm-hmm.
doing here? But I think that it is crucial for us to know how to farm to sustain ourselves, to sustain our communities,
Yes.
and to take initiative on our health because let's just be honest, nobody's calling to say, hey, make sure you did right by eating today, make sure you ate something
Mm-hmm.
that was natural or organic today. We're not having enough of those conversations. And then
Yes.
my biggest fear is, listen, we done seen a lot of things shut down when 2020 happened.
Absolutely.
You shut down the supermarket, then what?
Exactly. Exactly.
And so I felt that in the core of my spirit when you said ancestors told me to go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and do that because I've been hearing that same call, like, hello, you need
Heed the
to
call.
understand this.
Heed the call. Heed the call. I mean, it goes back to start with where you are with what you have.
Mm-hmm.
And so for your listeners, those who are joining us today, listening at whatever point, I do not want to paint a picture as if, you've got to be, totally, 100% living off the land, sustainable, off the grid, da da da. I'm saying get some containers, get some old pots around the house, get some 5-gallon drums, and learn how to grow tomatoes or collard greens or herbs on your patio, on your fire escape, on your backyard, on the side of your driveway. Start with what you have. And that's one of the things that we have modeled at Sankofa Gardens. This work is reviving. I had to take a hiatus because life happened. And
Right.
so we're getting back to the work. But, we use, abandoned tires. Get those tires. You don't have to go build boxes in order to grow, in order to plant, off the ground. Get some tires. There is something in your house, in your neighborhood, in your community that has value if you have eyes to see it. And so, as you said, in 2020, when all of our lives changed, this big kind of rehearsal moment, this big moment of open your eyes to see, we really need to not take that for granted.
Right.
It is important that we know how to grow food. period, point blank. It's a life skill. It's just like teaching your child or learning arithmetic, mathematics, whatever it is that your family values. It is another thing that is a life skill, that our children and that our families must have. Now, I'm from Louisiana, so going back to around that era, God forgive me for not remembering the year, but I am also not a survivor directly, but I'm of the generation of people when Hurricane Katrina happened in New Orleans. I had left New Orleans. I was living back home in Shreveport, but I saw, in my state, literally as people were flooded and abandoned and left for self on top of their rooftops on highways, literally having to survive. Wasn't nobody coming to save us. Wasn't nobody coming to save us. If it's anything that we should know as African people, ain't nobody coming to save us. And so I'm just saying, let's learn some of those wherever you go, you got to eat, period. Wherever you go, you need to eat. So it's that practical thing. And then on even next level, and again, all of these things evolved in my journey because of who we are, because this is a way of connecting with our the treasure of our ancestry. When we start putting our hands in the dirt, because we are agrarian people, you will start to awaken spiritual codes. You will start to awaken magical codes. You will start to awaken wealth codes. I'm telling you, sis, it's just true. It's just true because as elemental beings, we are the essence of earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. Start working in that garden. Start working in that garden. It's amazing.
I'm trying to write notes. I'm taking notes. I mean, you just dropping these jokes. Okay. I love that you said that, right? Because I'm always having these discussions. I sit amongst a lot of the brothers who like to do builds and all this other type of stuff, talking about ancestors stuff. And I had to break it down to somebody and was just like, look, the ancestors are not going to give those keys to people they cannot trust. That's not how this game works. That's not how this life path works. And so the ancestors have to know that they can trust us. And then if they know that they can trust us, they will feed us.
Yes.
And they will put us on the path of what we're supposed to do in the time that we have on this earth to pay it forward. Right? And there is so much knowledge. Like I also there's another, matter of fact, I think it was Sugar Ray. He was a guest like a couple episodes ago. And we were talking, not in his show, but in, sidebar notes, with the fact that it's even a spiritual thing to eat with your hands. And how your feet must touch the soil. All of those are spiritual practices and are keys to opening ways that we don't really acknowledge. Like we may do them, but don't really know the significance behind them. So I'm gonna have to do something else around that, because just by you saying, it's a lot to unpack there. So I'm getting like all the jitters on the inside. So don't just know it's just me trying to sort it out in my mind. Oh my God, that is so deep. That is so deep. And I just believe that so wholeheartedly. Like when I went to Uganda, I felt so different.
Wow.
And so I grew up Rasta. And so realizing that Queen Leia, I've been doing the practice and all that stuff for years. Didn't make that connection of who this woman was, who started it. And then so when I seen that, I took a picture that resembled her very essence from over 100+ years ago. It was like, nah, are you kidding me?
So hold up. Because let me say this because I know we vibe on the Jamaica piece. I am Jamaican. Look, I am Jamaican. The actual Jamaican is my son. His father is Jamaican. And so, I'm like, I claim it all now. Listen, hey, y'all not getting rid of me. This beautiful island over here. But I know like Rasta, Nyabingi chants is what I know in terms of cultural, use of terms. But you're telling me there was a Queen Nyabingi?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I made a post about her. I will do my due diligence, go back, find the post, and tag you in it so that you can see, because I was really caught off. Before I went, my father was like, listen, other rosters will know you, who you are by your presence. And so I felt it. I knew it. I know what he meant by it. But when I actually got there and then saw the cluster of rosters there that were Ugandan, I was like, interesting. And then I don't know. We stayed at like 8 different places on our mission, and so I was interacting with different people, different walks, different settings, and obviously the more rural and suburban. Well, I wouldn't call it suburban, but for better terms, those areas, it was a different feel, a different energy.
Yeah.
And my spirit has felt so called to home in that moment. If I didn't have things that I had going on here, I probably wouldn't have came back. I'm just being honest with you.
Listen, sis, as I was looking at your post, I was like, oh no, she gonna come back. Because I could tell. I mean, there was a clear you were vibrating so high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just very clear in your post and what you were sharing about your experiences and the photographs. I was like, she's really touched another home. You found another home.
Yeah. And I listened to this elder who was like, Africa is a place that has to call you. You don't call it. It has to call you. And I was like, he's right. Right?
Yes.
But I will say that too, because of you bringing up the farming. So many of the teachers that I knew there, they went into farming while their schools were closed because nobody was teaching, and internet thing was not a thing, right? How are we getting these kids on? That's not something. Internet's not always stable and so forth, and so we still have to produce and provide income for our families. So a lot of them went back to farming and their lands, and I'm like, yeah.
Interesting.
This is a message in so many ways. It's a message. But okay, all right, because I don't want to get caught up with that. There's a lot to get caught up with. You're amazing. So, all right, you are now creating this movement around moms, mompreneurs.
Yes.
What ignited that for you? What are you doing? And how can somebody like me follow and learn? Because it's a lot I want to understand about it. I'm learning this whole new mommyhood. How did moms do this? How y'all juggling? Y'all are phenomenal. We need a week of mom. Forget Mother's Day, Mother's Week.
Right.
Or Mother's Month. So elaborate. How did you get started with that? Like, and what spiked that? And what are you doing?
Again, as I've been on this journey with innovating Sankofa Gardens, which is a community-based nonprofit model, grassroots model with the vision of building an institution, right? That was, but it's entrepreneurial. To be entrepreneurial is to be a risk taker, an innovator, a visionary, to put yourself out there. So there was that, right? And then there have been like my little, side hustle things that I've done along the way, like, proposal writing and grant writing and, selling gemstones, just like really, I have not ever put a cap really on my ability to flow with my interest and just trusting that my interests have value for me and that they will have value for other people. And so once I got clear, once I decided, once I made a decision, okay, I really do want to thrive as an entrepreneur. I truly desire for this school to be successful and sustainable and to create employment for other people. And I also am very clear that I'm not inclined to do a 9 to 5 like my mother for 40 years. But again, I don't say that with shade because my parents did do that traditional career path. It created a foundation for me to go to the next level, right? And so my vision, Yane, for my life, and this is if I could just really encapsulate it in the most clear thought, part of my desire to contribute to the lineage of my family line, the Lewises, the Jordans of Louisiana, the Bucknells of Jamaica, the Hendersons of Louisiana. When we go down to the country and even to my mother's house, there is a wall of ancestors. There's a picture of ancestors. Oh. My mother's like the griot in our families. And honey, child, when you come visit one day, yes, she will tell you, and she gonna take her time telling you, right? So, we look at these pictures of these people who come before us, and I call it making the wall. So at some point, I'm going to make the wall of the ancestors. Right. And when my children's children or whoever it is are telling the story of Queen Leia, I want my story to be Queen Leia was the one in our family who became the first millionaire.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Like, I'm clear. That's what I'm moving towards. My mother became first generation college. My grandparents became first generation landowners. So they went from sharecropping to buying and owning land. My mother worked the land. She went to becoming a college educated woman. I grew up with education as a core value. And now I'm saying, I'm taking this family story from working 30 years, 40 years in a career to entrepreneurship, wealth, generational wealth on millions. That's my desire.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Oh, you gave me a heart. That's all right. That's how to process. Okay. And first of all, much respect to your family for building up this wall of lineage. So many people do not know they're 2 generations back. You know what I mean? And for whatever reasons, based on records, people move in, all types of stuff. So genealogy to me is super, super important.
Yes.
Shout out to my cousins who keep our family's name going and stuff. Like my great grandmother, she also just passed too, but she was still like a walking historian in the sense that she still had all her faculties at 98 and was able to say who was who, whose cousins is who, and all that family tree stuff. And so we were doing more digging on her family particularly to find out that they've been in Long Island for like the last 200-400 years. Like,
wow.
Yeah. It runs really deep. And so I'm happy that someone has been keeping this information alive and going. So yes. I can share it to my little one too. Like, hey, these are your people. Wow. So, okay. I know you have a course. What are you teaching in your course?
Sure. My course is my core course, my foundational program that I am teaching women now, and again, men who, maybe a few good men, but my focus is on women, is how to create and how to teach online courses. And so it sounds very simple. It's really not very much of a complex concept, but at the root of it is understanding that we live in a society, as evidenced right now with this StreamYard podcast experience, where communication, the information age, connects us globally. Yeah. It connects us internationally across all dimensions of race, gender, inclination, whatever. The internet is here to stay.
Yeah.
And so a little bit of the story behind the story of this course is, as I was evolving in my journey of womanhood from being a community-based worker, a nonprofit oriented, urban farmer and all of that. But I was doing community-based work from a nonprofit model. I found that model was not going to sustain me as a mother in caring for my children. So again, entrepreneurial. How can I hustle? How can I do some things? How can I make it happen to make my ends meet with more money? To make a very long story short, I arrived at a book, and this is an amazing book. It's called The Millionaire Messenger by Brendan Burchard. It is a highly recommended book because I prayed and I said to the Most High, I said, listen, if you want me to do this Sankofa Gardens, if you want me to create this garden and create this school, I'm committed to it. I love it. I'm here for it. But I need you to show me how to do this and feed my children. In my 20s, I didn't mind hustling. Now I'm a mom. I need more resources.
Right.
And through any number of circumstances, whatever they were, the creator led me to this book. When I opened this book, I saw that I had the solution for which I had prayed. Because in the book, long story short, he teaches that information can be packaged, sold, marketed, distributed through any number of networks, through courses, seminars, trainings, events, you name it. We know this because we met at the Black Women Millionaires event, right? So when I arrived at this, like in 2012, I don't remember I remember things in terms of the ages of my children. So that was around 2011. I was like, oh, this is dope. I was like, this is the solution, not just for me, Yane. I'm going to slow it down. This is the solution, not for me only, but this is the solution for the community elders of my childhood, the community activists of my young adulthood, the artists, the creatives, the African dance teacher, the community organizer, the woman who makes the amazing vegan dishes, and everybody go to Mama such and such at, Marcus Garvey Day, like the community that held me and nurtured me, brilliant people, but who were still teaching in that very grassroots, one-to-one or one-to-few model. And then as I'm witnessing my elders, who have taught me these things, these are still people, amazing in spirit, rich in spirit, but still very much challenged by the finances of living here in the West, living in Babylon. You need some money. Yeah. Okay. And so I'm like, if these people can simply learn how to not just teach at the community center, but teach a class online, not just teach for the youth group, but let's package it and teach it online. Because how many other people want to learn West African dance theory, West African dance technique? How many want to learn about organizing your community? How many want to learn about starting a garden? And so I promised the Most High, I said, as you teach me this, I'm going to come back and teach my people. And so I've had the opportunity to work with some brilliant elders. The most renowned elder is Yeye Louisa Tish, the author of Jambalaya, who's a great Yoruba priestess, healer, visionary, author, writer. And I worked with Yeye Tish for over 5 years of helping her take her courses and package them. Mm-hmm. She taught these classes to over 5 years. We probably reached 5,000 women. Wow. Through her teaching online classes. And again, it monetized her life and, of course, my assisting her greatly because people are signing up for the classes. Yes. So now I'm moving to the next phase of this and teaching women who are more in that emerging space of saying, I want to create a new stream of income. My thing is sis, you already have intellect, creativity, expertise, resources, wisdom, a mission, a movement, whatever it may be. And let's create your first course. And let me teach you what I've learned about marketing it. And everything I do, Sister Yane, is with ease and grace. It's like, let's get started and let me show you how to make your first $1,000 in 30 days. And it can be very well accomplished without a lot of bells and whistles, without a lot of having to know a whole lot of techie, super techie stuff. You do need to know technology because that's the vehicle, but that's where I am. And my cohort of women, the tribe, the community that I'm building are called the Wealthy Course Creators.
Wealthy Course Creators.
The Wealthy Course Creators. And so the beauty, because community is so central to what I do, is once these women are in my community and creating their courses, now our conversations and now the next level of vision is, how do we collaborate? How do we cross promote? How do we grow our courses together, our audiences together, our platforms together?
You know what? I love that. And to jump in on the space, let's interview some of your women from your courses to talk about what they're teaching and brighten it up. Especially because for Women's Month, I do want to do a segment on honoring thy women and thy women's businesses. Yeah, I would love to do that and hear more about what everyone is teaching and maybe even sign up for something as well. Let's push it and promote it. I mean,
I love it.
This is the spirit of, I just can't.
Exactly. Listen, it is. It's the spirit of collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics. I'm going to the Nguzo Saba, right?
Yes.
But, the Nguzo Saba can be interpreted according to our own kaumba, our own creativity, right? Yes. It's that I have a passion for women and mompreneurs. Why? Because I'm a woman, I'm a mother who is responsible for my family. And so I have a heart for women who have a lot of responsibility, not necessarily always a lot of external support, and they got to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, sis, let's make it happen. I have learned something that is working for me, and I want to offer it and show you and teach you what can potentially work for you too.
I love that. I love that. I just respect that so much. I think that's awesome. And definitely want to build with you in private about featuring these women and the courses and stuff, who has their courses running. Let's talk about what they're teaching, what inspired them to teach.
Yes.
As well, and share.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I say this also, Yane?
Yeah.
I want to circle back to our conversation when we began, and I know that, or I heard you say, that you are in a space of considering what's next for you with Reading for Smiles.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, and again, I say this as the Wealthy Course Creator, facilitator, leader, before you release it or as you are considering your options, I would also love to have a conversation with you to vibe and to build and to consider how this space of creating online courses and programs and packages, there are lots of ways that what you have created with Reading for Smiles can continue, and you can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you desire. But you've put so much, listen, here's my garden analogy. You put so many good seeds in the ground that, don't just let the field go fallow, like let's look at how you can further harvest and continue to yield from that good work.
Yeah, I mean, I will chat with you more about that off of here, but my intention is to take everything and bring it into the virtual space, and continue to, during the pandemic, we built out these kits, and the kits went with our course. So you got the notebook, you got the pencils, you got all of these things that still made you feel like you were home with us inside the school, but I
Mm-hmm.
also gave you all of the supplies so that parents wouldn't even have to worry about running around to go get anything. Here
Mm-hmm.
is the kit. So now we were selling the package. The whole summer camp went that way as well, and we had to get creative with teaching kids how to present online. We got pushed and they got pushed,
Mm-hmm.
and in a good way, because then I was able to say, okay, at this age, you can handle these things online.
Yes.
And a lot of the students who actually had trouble inside the classroom, like I'm thinking of like behaviors, were actually great in the online space.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
it was I walked away with a lot of eye-opening parts to this.
Yeah.
And then also here, like with Shatter the Glass, is underneath my other company, the Educator Suite, and so I'll be sending out
Mm-hmm.
more things underneath this brand and this company as well. 2023, I'm leveraging me, if that makes any sense.
Total 100%.
You know,
Shatter the glass.
Shatter
Hit the
Glass.
button. Hit the button. Hit it.
I'm leveraging me.
Yes. Same.
And
Same.
our previous guest, Donna Hicks Izard, shout out to my big sis. Something a jewel that she dropped was like, nah, it's the gift of you, and people need to
Mm-hmm.
honor the gift of you and what that
Ashe.
brings. And so that resonated with me. Having this conversation with you is even more confirmation. And just been looking at it. There's so many things happening between politics and then the health reasons. I don't want to bring anything home to my baby. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
let's be wise.
Yes.
Let's be
Yes.
wise. And we were online since 2015 with the kids, but it was luxury. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
mandatory. And so now
Mm-hmm.
there's a shift in that, and it's a shift in the parents of the parent mindset, as well as putting my child in online as
Mm-hmm.
well. So everybody's learning. We all getting stretched. We all getting stretched.
Yes.
Everything is not,
Absolutely.
everything is not for everybody, but for those who it's for, we here. That's where I'm at.
There we go.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? They say if you're trying to sell to everybody, you're not really reaching anybody. So
Mm-hmm. That's right.
that's that part. But okay, so off of that. When was a time that you shattered the glass on your journey?
Ooh, a time that I shattered the glass on my journey. Wow. Okay. Definitely founding Sankofa Gardens was a shatter the glass moment. Just like having the boldness to like trust the guidance of spirit and start this garden, which led to summer programs for youth and people growing food and teaching families how to grow. That was a shatter the glass. You know, yeah, that's my shatter the glass moment.
It's
Yeah.
so
But
I
let me say this. I have to say this. My next shattered the glass. Well, I didn't shatter the glass in the spirit, in the ethereal. It's just a matter of like the physical manifestation. But my next shattered the glass is my parting ways with my good government job so that I can go back and reclaim and give 100%. I don't know if 100% is the right way, but so that I can give attention and focus to cultivating and developing Sankofa Gardens.
yes, I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and I get it.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, there's ways that some of us could help sponsor or promote Sankofa as well,
Thank you.
because I'm telling you, our people need it. I don't
Yes.
know if you want to do women in gardening. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm waiting for the spirit to give me that download and build on that session with you. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I would be the first student to sign up. So maybe you want to do one of your courses on how to get till this land, or get this flower bed in your window, depending
Right.
on where you live. Maybe listen, those are
Mm-hmm.
courses, and I'm telling you, I'm signing up as a student because I know it's something that I need to do.
Right. I hear you. I welcome that. And that's a great idea as well. So yeah, it's like, in my life, all roads are leading back to that big divine assignment. That is what I know to be, it's a life's work. It's been unfolding for several decades now. But before I leave this planet and move on to whatever the next realm shall be, I want to know that working together with community and many good people, including the great folks of Shatter the Glass, New York City, Jamaica, like for real, like this is uniting people,
Yeah.
to create a place where families and community and our culture is celebrated, and it's educational in focus, it's culturally deeply rooted, and it's honoring the heritage and the richness and beauty of who we are. And so as people go here, there, and yonder, there's a place in Louisiana where you can Sankofa, you can return back to, and you can touch the land, and you can connect with something that's real and that's healing and that's holistic and that is about the truth, and celebrating goodness and beauty.
Yes. Listen, I also heard you mention the gemstones. I did
Yes.
not know. Do you sell them or
I
you just
do. I
collect
have a
them?
little small inventory. Part of what I imagine is that I will have a gift shop where I'll have some of those things at the Sankofa store. That 2 acres of land, that's the campus. So
Yes.
we got a schoolhouse, we have an administrative building with the guest house. We're going to have a kitchen, for community meals. And this is the thing, Yane. See, all of this is weaving together. The women who are teaching the classes, they're going to eventually come to Sankofa and teach.
Yes.
So the goal is that it's not just a local learning center, but that it is a retreat center. That's like the expanded vision is,
Listen,
people are coming, people from all over. Girl, listen, Spirit done sent me all these places, and people in other countries know about Sankofa Gardens. They're just waiting for the invitation to come.
listen, let me tell you something. Spirit is working.
Come on.
For the
Thank you.
last, since I started, I want to say maybe like 3 years, I've been talking with my good friend Dr. Bola. That's my sister there. And saying like, because she was like, yo, you should do the whole Shatter the Glass uh conference, right? But before this, for educators, we were like, we need to do a conference where it's a retreat. Not I want to move away from the word conference. Retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Holistically, we're looking at the health of our leaders, the mindsets, building wealth, building a synergy in
Yes.
alignment with certain things. And so when you now just said retreat, the buzz is like ding 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 ding. And I was looking at different places like, well, where could this thing be hosted? This is another reason why I gotta work a little more harder so I can get this plot of land as well and do some other things. And I know
Yes.
my husband think I'm crazy because I'm like that we need something over yonder. And so if I got to be running trips and bringing people back to the continent, I'm open to do that as well.
Yes.
For our retreat place. But it's necessary.
Absolutely.
It's necessary. We all live lives of go, 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 go. There has
Hmm.
to be a time where we stop, sit back, reflect, and reset.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, to avoid burnout and all of that type of stuff. So I'm super happy to hear you say that. I
Hmm.
can't wait till you have it where you say, sis, come on down.
Hmm.
Okay? Because
Absolutely.
I'm coming. You have to
Yes.
hear it live. I'm coming because I love all of it.
Thank
All of
you.
it. And I can see so many great things happening with you in that space.
Yes. I'm excited. It's a constant motivation that through the ups and downs and the challenges and the overcoming of life that continues to compel me forward. Like I'm confident, Sister Yane. My faith is complete in that I know it will come to pass. Like
Right.
I know that.
Right.
I'm very clear. It's just a matter of working it out. Faith plus works, and it's a continuum. It's a journey of continuing to walk it out and to work it out. Um, But as we do this work in Sankofa, in Uganda, in the cities in which we live, we are connecting to this great tapestry, if you will, of God's plan,
Yes.
And fulfilling these missions that our ancestors have whispered into our ears. We have a sense of why it's important.
Yes.
We have a sense of why it's important, but we only have that. We only see what we see. How is this going to impact future generations?
Yeah. Yeah.
How is this going to impact our children and our children's children and our children's children? Like this is big work.
I want to say, and though times looks chaotic outside, the good people that I do know, like such as yourself, the Donnas, the Bolas, the Constances, like the different people that I know in this era who have been on Shatter the Glass and who are coming forward to Shatter the Glass,
yes,
have been of a certain mindset, a certain pattern of belief of doing goodwill. Like people are doing things that's bigger than them.
Yes.
And the seeds that are being planted among you guys is phenomenal, if I could just use that as my adjective to place in there, because I'm looking at what is it that a child now can learn about creating their own online courses, right?
Yeah.
Learning even what the embodiment of Sankofa is, right? What learning about, and I'll take this stretch because I was going to ask you this next, on where did you even get your Pan-Africanism from? Because that's not something that's common either. While certain people may say it depends on the day of the week. It's different when I know people who live it. And so, I am going to go there with you as my next question, because I'm like, there's some real seeds being planted. God used me to help this next harvest. I don't know why. I'm doing this for fun. I'm gonna be honest with you. This for me is just fun.
Right.
But if there's something else that's coming with it, then to God be the glory. Let's make this happen and let's make this work.
Right.
Where did you get your spirit of Pan-Africanism from?
The first seed, or the first awareness of Pan-Africanism, I didn't even know it was Pan-Africanism. Okay. I come from a family that is, Louisiana, Bible Belt, Deep South, Pan-Africanism as a philosophy, as a consciousness that evolved in my college years when I went to New Orleans. Okay. When I actually even learned the concepts. Now, I was grounded in a respect and a deep love for family, which of course is Pan-African.
Yes.
In terms of my families of origin. Also, my love of the land, family of origin. Yeah. Being a Black girl raised by educators, those old school Black educators. So, honey, Black History Month, Black History Studies, that was foundational in like my childhood. So it was already steeped, the land was cultivated there, as a child. I have to give honor to my father and my grandfather, both ancestors now, Leroy Lewis Jr. and Leroy Lewis Sr. But I grew up hearing my father say this. And as a young woman, when I had the opportunity to act on it, it was second nature because I grew up hearing my daddy say this. My grandfather, Leroy Lewis Sr., told my daddy, who told me, son, buy you some land. God ain't making no more land. I grew up hearing this, family talks, fish fries, son, buy you some land. God ain't making no more land. And so when I had the opportunity to purchase land, which in the first formation was a home, like my first starter house, that was my grandfather in my ear going, son, buy you some land. God ain't making no more land. Keep the land. Hold on to the land. Don't let the
Mhm.
land go. Right. And so when I went on and as a young woman in college in the amazing city of New Orleans, um, which is so deeply African in the traditions and the music and the food, because it was one of the major slave ports here in North America. I went clearly on a mission. Like I went looking for my history. Like I was on a mission to learn, involved in study groups, involved in my peers, those of us who rolled together. It was like the golden age of hip hop, honey. So we had twists and locks, ox, red, black, and green medallions, baby. We had baggy jeans, Timbs, honey. We in Louisiana. We think we out the Bronx. You heard me. We listening to Eric B and Rakim, we
Yes.
listen to Digital Planet, Diggable Planets, Queen Leia, just like the golden
Yeah.
age of hip hop.
Yeah. The KRS ones. Yeah.
Yes, X
Yeah.
Clan,
Yes.
Poor Righteous Teachers.
Yes. Oh,
Like
yeah.
that was the backdrop of my college era. And so to be blackity black was the ultimate. It was like the ultimate to be blackity black, So we're like these kids in the deep south, But we're watching Yo MTV Raps and we're watching Miss D. I can't even remember the show that she used to have. But we were plugging into this other national movement that is happening, with the music and with the culture.
Yes.
And it's grounded by these elders in New Orleans who were Black Panthers.
Yes.
So when we go to like the Black bookstore, all due respect to Community Book Center in New Orleans, Mama Jennifer, Mama Vera still holding it down. I'm reading these books and my eyes are opening and I'm just like, wow, amazing. This is who I am.
What's one book you would recommend to people on the history level?
This is like primary. This is like a primer.
Mm-hmm.
But to any young people, like even with my son, when he was like a tween, see now it's gone. Dr. Naeem Akbar's, no, not Dr. Naeem Akbar, the Browder Files, Tony Browder.
Oh,
That collection of essays, the Browder Files, I think, for like the very novice Africana student,
yeah.
like, yeah, the Browder Files will just like whet your appetite.
He just did like a conference, I want to say like a couple months ago. They did it in Detroit. They were supposed to do it in Egypt. But the Egyptians there were very upset about this African conference happening and was accusing them of blackwashing history. So it became a whole yeah, girl, that part. And so they moved it back here to the States and did it in Detroit. And now that same group, Happy Film, it's a cluster of different African scholars coming together. They're going to be here in Queens in a couple of weeks, like February 3rd or 4th or something like that. Shout out to my friends at Happy Film. And yeah, I'm definitely going to go while we still have our Dr. Smalls, Dr. Leonard Jeffrey, like the so many others, including Tony Browder, who will also be there. I don't know if Jabari Ozuze is going to be there, but there's just some different scholars that are going to be in the room. They're calling it a day of Black excellence. So I think it's going to be really, really good. But yeah, I like that. I do feel like we need to have a space where our children are learning more of their history in depth, not surface level, but in depth, to spark that journey for them.
Yes.
And, and maybe, I don't know, maybe even do an old school book club around that and stuff too, because knowledge has to be shared.
Right.
To whom much is given, much is expected. And so that some of that expectation is to share upon that knowledge. Okay, all right. Okay, so I don't want to, we done been all over the moon.
I know, right?
All right. So, what advice? Oh, my little toy car thing came down. What advice would you give to moms who are trying to figure it out and break open a space into getting into business?
Hmm. My advice would be, or my advice is, let me think about that. My first advice is get started. Like begin.
Mm-hmm.
Start now. Start now. And thank you. I love that.
Today.
Because there is no way to know how this will unfold for you. You cannot predict the end. You cannot project the ending. You can plan, and you should plan. You should study. You should associate yourself. It will benefit you to associate yourself with a teacher, a mentor who is several steps ahead on the journey, a person of high integrity and character who
Yes.
can teach you and who can pour into you and show you the way. That's the way in which I work with my clients, right? But even in saying that, you still have to get started. So maybe the first step is making the commitment. I want to give myself the opportunity to grow. I call it giving myself permission to grow. Give yourself that permission. No one can give you that permission. Your spouse can't give it to you. Your mama can't give it to you. Your sister girls can't give it to you. Those people may advise, they may give their opinions, but ultimately it is your decision between you and source that you're going to step forward. So give yourself permission to walk into the unknown.
Yes.
And then pray, ask, do your due diligence, do your research, ask questions, and look for someone who can help you because you will need a guide because it's new terrain. So find your teacher. And if you find your teacher, or as you find your teacher, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right?
Yes.
Show up. And as I teach my students, my classroom students, and my children, be learnable, be teachable, and be coachable. Be learnable, be teachable, and be coachable. So, exactly, right? So that means in the learning process, we must show up with a certain willingness, readiness, and receptivity to gain and to contribute to the learning process. It's a two-way street. Learning involves both the teacher as well as the student. It's a back and forth exchange. And then commit yourself to applying the knowledge that you're learning. And in the world of entrepreneurship, completion and effort is more important than perfection. So, as women, and surely sometimes as Black women, we can be so caught up in that, it's got to be perfect and feeling like people are examining our value and judging. Baby, do it. Put it out there. See if there's a proof of your concept. And so entrepreneurship is very much, it's not just business. Entrepreneurship is perhaps maybe 30% business, 30% personal development work, working with your own self, trusting yourself, confidence, self-worth, money mindset, lack, letting go of limiting beliefs. That's all the personal development that goes with it. And then the other 30% is the faith walk. It's trusting in the unseen. And it's the most beautiful process altogether. But you got to get started. You got to start.
Got to start. Step one.
Yeah.
Got to start. Oh, God. That was a couple of jewels, friends. That was a couple of jewels, friends. I hope you caught them. You're going to have to hit replay, rewind on here on YouTube and bring it back. And I suggest that you do. Because at the end of the day, we can always use the reset button. I can't express that enough. And so that's why I'm looking forward to the retreat and hosting one and attending yours and everything. I'm just looking forward to what all the new chapters bring out of this, because again, it's necessary. It's necessary. Everything you spoke about tonight is so impactful and just so necessary. And I know that building family foundations is super important, especially now when the world is looking so chaotic and people are looking for something to cling on to. Go back to your roots.
Yes. Yes.
And I actually was telling someone a couple weeks ago, like, they don't want to be bothered with their family, whatever. Okay, start some new traditions then. It's still, the ball is still in your court. Start some new traditions. You know, no one is perfect. No one has this thing called life all figured out. And so we do what we can with what we have and make the best out of it.
Yes.
And make sure that we're really leaving behind a legacy for those who are coming behind us, whether they're your bloodline or not.
Right.
To aspire into something. Do this good work. Everybody may be called, but only a few is chosen.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I to build on that, you know, I really want to, if I could say it even more with even more oomph, if that's the word, is, you know, I really want to encourage women, you know, and most of my clients are Black women, so very specifically Black women, to like to stretch, like to like know that greatness is in you, and great things are possible. And like our ancestral mother, Mary McLeod Bethune, she's one of my greatest sheroes. I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. I love her. I love her. She's the one that encourages me on this Sankofa journey, because I had to go there with my children. I had to go there with my former spouse and go to Florida and see Bethune-Cookman College. This woman created a university with, of course, others, but she had a vision for educating Black youth, first Black girls and then Black youth. She started with 7 girls under a tree. 7 girls under a tree. And grew a university. A whole HBCU is right there in Daytona, Florida. Yeah. When I went there and I touched the ground and there's this beautiful statue of her, I just cried. I was like, Mother did it. She did it.
Yes.
And then, of course, we know, you know, there's so many greats in our cultural story. Of course, you know, we know the story of Louisiana born, just 2 hours down the road, of Madam C.J. Walker.
Yes.
Who started out in the fields and became the first, or one of the first, you know, because there's also the Annie Malone lady, with all due respect to her, who grew this beauty empire and put, you know, hundreds of Black women to work who otherwise would have been domestics, or otherwise been, domestics. That was about the only alternative they had.
Yep.
And these women were like prospering through the business model that Madam C.J. Walker created. Yes. And when you look at her quotes, Madam C.J. Walker says, I decided to promote myself. At every crossroads, she said, I'm leaving the field. I'm promoting myself. Washerwoman. She moved from a washerwoman. I'm promoting myself. From washerwoman, she went to beautician. I'm promoting myself. From beautician, she went to, you know, creating her own line of products. I'm promoting myself. She built a factory. Baby, she promoted herself.
Listen, quote of the night, I'm promoting myself.
Okay. She promoted herself. And then over here, these are 2 of the great sheroes in addition to the women in my family. But my other shero, Mary McLeod Bethune, there's this little pocketbook that I have that it will resurface, and it's called The School That Faith Built. She was like, I didn't have no money, but I had faith.
Right.
I didn't have no dollars, but I had faith and I was willing to work. So I'm just saying, for the women who are our contemporaries, if these great women, they're just two examples among many. Find your shero. Find your personal shero. I was talking to a young sister on social media, and she has a vision for her life because she's like glam, she is the glam young sister. Okay.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm looking for a mentor to help me in this realm of cultivating this, glamorous, affluent persona lifestyle. I'm like, I know just a sister for you, right? I connected her with the sister, and the elder, elegant sister who I connected her was like, Diane Carroll is my inspiration. That's my model, Diane Carroll. Baby, listen, it's already been done. It's already the path, the blueprint is there. Find the blueprint, find the ancestor, the shero and or the hero whose life gives you life, and study them. Like, study their story like a book. And take lessons from their blueprint. Get started. Get started. That's your homework.
Ooh.
Go find your shero. Go find your hero. That's your work.
We gotta break the glass. That right there, find the ancestors whose life inspires you and gives you life.
Yes.
Study them and follow the blueprints.
Yes.
Girl, that's a word. That's a sermon.
It is because we know in this personal development space, what do they always say? Success leaves clues. Yes. Success does leave clues. So it's not that we have to start from scratch. We don't. We just need to be good students of history. We need to be good students of our culture. We also need to be good students of our family, because there are likely sheroes and heroes in your family, your origin, or in your community.
Yes.
And so what do we know? To whom much is given, much is required.
Yes.
We don't have, yes, we should enjoy life. Absolutely. In fact, I'm at this crossroads where I'm like, Leah, you need to have more fun. Yes, we should enjoy life. We should. Mm-hmm. But to whom much is given, much is required. Yes. And so if we're standing on the strong shoulders of those who come before us, my question is this: are your shoulders strong enough for somebody to stand on? I'm keeping it 100, sis.
Wait, are your shoulders? Wait, I gotta write that down. Are your shoulders strong enough for someone else to stand on?
Because I'm in the flow. Listen. But we see it in our families. We see, the destruction, the deterioration, the challenges that are ravaging our families. Like, my church girl, going back to, my church foundation, it's like, the devil seeks to kill, steal, and destroy. The devil is busy. The devil is busy in terms of the impact that it's having on this present generation.
Yes.
And on our families. And so we really don't have I personally feel that we do not, I believe that it is a dishonor for us to just live like we want to do and be not focused on making a contribution, a greater contribution to our families and to our community. Yeah. And so I'm weaving these things together. For Black women, entrepreneurship is the space where we can get in and flex, be free agents, and create what it is that we desire, because we are the most educated. We are the most educated people on the planet. Sis, you don't need another degree. I ain't saying don't get it. I'm just saying. I mean, I know like the Black women who I know, some of them, like they got like 500 degrees. I mean, you can get another one and it's all good. But I've decided, listen, I'm gonna make it work with these few that I got, and I'm going to create massive wealth for myself and for my family because I need money.
Yeah.
Money is required in order to birth this greater work in the world. When you put money in the hands of people who have the consciousness, the character, the commitment to doing good, we should be wealthy. We are the ones that should be the stewards of wealth because we will do so much good with it.
Yes.
So get started. Woman listening, start.
You made me want to upload my little goal setting course tonight. I'm
Please.
just saying, listen, because it is just, it's so true. And it's so funny because my dad said that to me too, like a couple years ago. The greatest thing you can ever do is to start. Just start. There's nothing holding you back. Just start.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just start is so powerful. But yet so simplistic in its words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But let just start empower you to get off your shay and get to doing what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to own. It's time to
Yes.
leverage. It's time to impact. It's time to
Mm-hmm.
grow. It's time to
Mm-hmm.
evolve. It's time to administer. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. No more of playing in the back. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
want to play in the background, there's some heavy sisters that play in the background and they make great money for being in the background. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to take that away. But for those of you who've been called to lead and be out front,
Mm-hmm.
be out front, because even while you are being a support, you are leading. And so I don't
Yes.
want anyone to get that misconstrued either because of the way I had just worded that. You can lead as a support.
Mm-hmm.
No one is doing this all on their own.
Thank you. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for the husband sitting with the baby so that we could have
Mm-hmm.
this space.
Yes.
So, you know what I mean? So it takes the village
Yes, it does.
to hone in on the village. And I'm excited. Oh my God. You have given me some things. I haven't got my page full of notes over here. I hope that my listeners also have their notes and stuff too. How can we connect with you and what's next for you?
Absolutely. So, consistently across social media, I am Queen Leia Lewis, Leia Lewis, Queen Leia Lewis. My YouTube channel, I am reviving it for the 2023 as I leverage myself, like my good sister Yane has
Yeah.
said. I plan to focus and really develop my YouTube channel as a platform for communicating, teaching, and especially for documenting my journey,
Yes.
for documenting my journey as a mompreneur, teaching what I'm learning, teaching my own, sharing my own process of growth and transformation, and evolving into my next level as a wealthy woman. And I'll be sharing my journey on YouTube. My Facebook is where I share a lot of my promotions, events, opportunities, classes. So I don't have a business page now. It's on my personal page there. And then my link tree is the place where you can see where my current offerings are. So what I'd love to invite everyone to do, there are a couple of things on there. You'll see that I'm beginning a book club called the Permission to Grow Book Club. And so mindset is so much a part of this, you know? It's like, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, right?
Yes.
Have a good head, have a good ori, good consciousness. A person will only grow and will only act and will only demonstrate according to their level of consciousness. So we have to cultivate our head, our mind space, because it will bless us infinitely. So the Permission to Grow Book Club is a space for those who choose to join and participate on YouTube, to like get into some books, get into some dialogue, get into some discussion to elevate our mindset and elevate our thinking and thus our living and our being. And then the other invitation I want to share, and it's here on the link tree, is I have a free webinar event coming up on January 22nd, and it's called How to Earn Your First 1K in 30 Days. And that is for the folks who are interested in learning how to move into this online digital space, to leverage your information, your expertise, your knowledge, and to teach online. And I'm going to give you the whole blueprint. I'm going to show you in this free event, 30 days, what it looks like day by day by day, what you do day 1, 3, 5, 15, 29, and 30, so that you have a grand in your pocket, your first grand or your next grand. And after that, if you want more, well, then you should come take my course with me and become a wealthy course creator. So, yes, I'm looking forward to all of the women who are going to join me in the New Year's cohort. Come on, let's do it. Yes, we're rising together.
People, you can see the link there. Take a screenshot. Follow my sister on the pages. See what she's about. See what she's doing. Recommend a friend. We all got one friend. Recommend a sister. Recommend a brother. I'm not going to even leave the men out. I love that you said the whole thing about mindset, grow your mind, right? Because Sugar Ray actually said, and I wrote down, I had to flip back here in my trusty notebook, you cannot go further than your mindset was one of the jewels that he dropped.
Yes.
In his episode. And so with you saying it, now I'm like, well, maybe my Shatter the Glass is about raising consciousness and awareness and up leveling the people as well. Let's take this to higher height, because I love conscious conversations.
Absolutely.
And I feel like we need more of them. We're being like, what's righteous and what's good, and good flow, good vibe, good energy it's around. You have to go seek it though. But I feel like there's more things to pull you into trouble that's getting more attention, even in the media. You know what I mean? We're looking at we're losing our young men out here due to the music. Like, I was going to go there direction to you with you. The hip hop that we love and grew up with is not the same of what these kids are listening to today.
Yes,
by far. It's a whole different thing. And I'm like, our music at that point was to revolutionize. It was to stand for something, stand on something. Today, get high on something and not. It's not good. It's not good.
It's not. And my father, my late father, would say, and it's by design.
Thank you for coming in tonight. Thank you for everybody who watched live with us and who's also gonna come back and circle back later on. I appreciate it. This has been inspiring for me. So thank you, Queen Leia Lewis. And on that note, any final words before we close out?
I simply want to say thank you again, Sister Yane, for creating this platform. Shatter the Glass is nothing but greatness and greatness and more greatness that is on you and your family, your husband, and your beautiful baby boy. Oh my goodness, he is so adorable. And so, thank you for stepping forward and getting started and creating this space for us to share and have conversations that matter and to connect, to connect amazing people around the country and around the planet so that we can support one another and we can continue to build together. So I love you much. I'm so grateful that we connected all those years ago as Black women millionaires, and we are stepping into that destiny. We are.
Yes. I'm like, come on, God. I've been patiently waiting my turn. I'm gonna still do this work though, but I've been waiting my turn.
That's right.
In the 2 Comma Club.
Come on now.
I done did 5 figures. I done did 6 figures. I ain't trying to tell my business. Don't be coming looking for me, y'all. But I want 7 figures. Now.
That's right. That's right. So be it. Speak it as if it is so.
Yes, I need it now. I really need it with this little boy. Okay.
That's right.
Children ain't cheap.
Yes. Yes.
Well, everyone, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I love everybody who's been coming on. I love those of you in the audience. Again, if you are interested in joining Shatter the Glass, you can go straight to the website, sign up. Let me know if you want to go live or pre-recorded. We'll have us a pre-conversation before you come on. Yes, because like I said, I want likes, not strikes. And so it's very important that I continue to keep the essence of this space where it's at. Like, we've hit the ground running with some really great guests already, and I kind of want to keep it in that same atmosphere of the energy that everyone's bringing, levels of spirituality, levels of community, family. It's all been foundational stuff, and so I want to keep that. I'm loving this. It's a vibe. I'm starting to feel a vibe. And thank you for being a part of that vibe, Queen Leia.
Thank you.
Check her out again, Sankofa Farms. Listen, y'all, we all tell her we waiting for the retreat.
Okay.
We need the retreat.
Go to the link tree. At the bottom of the link tree is the Sankofa Gardens website there. So anyways, all of the ways to connect me are on link tree. Just take your time, go through the little links, and sign up for my newsletter. It's called Mindset of a Queen. Mindset of a Queen. Come on now. But it is my monthly newsletter. And so I pour so much value into that newsletter. And when you join the newsletter, it's a free subscription. That's like the number one way for staying in touch with me, because I'll be sending you emails and letting you know all these great things that are happening with myself, the other wealthy course creators, the women who will be coming on to Shatter the Glass. Sign up for the newsletter.
Yes. Oh my God. I love it. All right. I'm signing up tonight. Y'all better get on. All right. My sister, Ashe, is beautiful. Thank you so much. So much. And then the rest of you guys, stay tuned as we shatter the glass. I'll be back on here with our next guest, Edward Hiltz, who's also an entrepreneur and real estate investor. Him and his wife are doing amazing things. The brother is deep. I love him, and I love what they're doing as well. And so until we meet again in this online space, hit the like and subscribe button, please.
Thanks for joining Shatter the Glass with Yonne. Tune in next time to hear more breakthroughs. But before you go, share, like, and subscribe.